The vanishing girls of the parlor in the small town of Shivpuri, tucked away in the shadows of dense, towering trees, there stood an old, decrepit beauty parlor. It was unassuming, with its faded sign barely legible, Rashmi's Beauty Parlor. Over the years, it had become the go-to place for local women and girls, offering affordable makeovers and hairstyles. But beneath its quaint exterior, a chilling secret lingered, one that no one dared to speak of openly. Over the past 6 months, the town had been gripped by a wave of disappearances. Young girls, no older than 20, would visit the parlor, eager for a transformation, only to vanish without a trace. Their families were left devastated, and the town was slowly consumed by fear. Each disappearance seemed to be linked to a particular chair in the parlor, the one closest to the large antique mirror that hung on the wall like a relic of the past. Chapter 1. The first whispers. It all started with Pooja, a lively 17-year-old girl with dreams of leaving Shivpuri and becoming a Bollywood actress. She was the first to go missing. Her friends recalled how she was giddy with excitement the day she went to the parlor for a makeover before her audition. Rashmi, the parlor's owner, had promised her complete transformation. But Pooja never returned home. Her mother, hysterical with worry, rushed to the parlor only to be met with confusion. Rashmi claimed that Pooja had left hours ago, her makeover complete. There were no signs of struggle, no clues, just an eerie, uncomfortable silence. Pooja's phone was never found, and neither was she. The police chalked it up to a runaway case. Perhaps Pooja had fled in search of stardom. But the town knew better. Dark whispers began to spread, claiming that something sinister lurked within the walls of Rashmi's beauty parlor. Chapter 2. A growing fear. As the months passed, more girls vanished. Priya, Kavya, and Veer, all under 20, each visited the parlor, each vanished without a trace. The similarities between the cases were too striking to ignore. Each girl had been seated in the same chair, the one closest to the mirror. People began to avoid the parlor, but there was always a new girl, someone from out of town or a traveler passing through, unaware of the chilling disappearances. And so, the vanishings continued. The police investigation led nowhere. Rashmi was questioned, but there was no evidence to link her to the disappearances. She was always calm, her responses measured, but something about her eyes unsettled the officers. The case turned cold, but the town's fear only grew colder. Chapter 3. The journalist's curiosity. A year after the first disappearance, a young investigative journalist named Arjun arrived in Shivpuri. He had heard the rumors, the stories of the vanishing girls, and his instincts told him that there was more to the story than just a string of missing persons cases. His curiosity led him to Rashmi's beauty parlor. Arjun entered the parlor, greeted by the smell of incense and old wood. The walls were lined with photographs of women, before and after shots of their makeovers. He noticed something odd. None of the recent victims were on the wall. In fact, there were no photos of young girls at all, only middle-aged women and a few elderly clients. Rashmi greeted him with a polite smile, but Arjun could sense a deep unease beneath her calm demeanor. As they spoke, he noticed her eyes frequently darting to the large antique mirror, as though she were afraid of it. He made a mental note of it that night. Arjun sat in his hotel room, poring over the notes he had gathered from the families of the missing girls. A pattern began to emerge, a mysterious connection to the mirror. Each girl had been seated in the same chair, facing the mirror just before she vanished. Driven by a hunch, Arjun decided to investigate further. He returned to the parlor the next day, this time with a hidden camera. Chapter 4. The Mirror's Curse. Arjun made small talk with Rashmi as she worked on a client. He asked about the mirror, its history, and how it came to be in her parlor. Rashmi's face paled. She hesitated before answering, her voice barely a whisper. The mirror, it wasn't always mine, she said. It belonged to an old woman who lived in the hills, a reclusive, strange woman. She passed away years ago, and I found the mirror in her abandoned house. I thought it was beautiful, and so I brought it here. But Arjun could see there was more to the story, something Rashmi wasn't telling him. That night, Arjun snuck into the parlor after hours. The place was deathly quiet, the air thick with tension. He approached the mirror cautiously, his heart pounding in his chest. As he stood before it, he noticed something strange. His reflection didn't quite match his movements. It was subtle at first, but then he realized his reflection was staring at him even when he turned his head away. Suddenly, the room grew cold, and a low whisper filled the air, a voice so faint that it seemed to come from within the mirror itself. "Help me!" Arjun stepped back, horrified. The reflection in the mirror shifted, and he saw a face not his own, but the face of a young girl. It was Pooja. She was trapped. Chapter 5, the final revelation. Arjun's mind raced. The mirror wasn't just a reflection, it was a prison, a gateway to another world. The missing girls hadn't run away, they had been pulled into the mirror, trapped in some nightmarish dimension. He had to act fast. The next day, Arjun confronted Rashmi, demanding the truth. Tears streamed down her face as she confessed. "The mirror is cursed," she whispered. "I didn't know at first, but now, I can't get rid of it. It demands youth, it demands beauty. Every girl who sits in front of it becomes its prisoner. And if I refuse, it will take me instead." Arjun knew he had to destroy the mirror, but it wasn't going to be easy. The mirror had a life of its own, a malevolent force that wouldn't let its victims go without a fight. That night, armed with a hammer and gasoline, Arjun returned to the parlor one last time. As he raised the hammer to strike the glass, the reflection of the trapped girls appeared, their faces twisted in agony, their voices pleading for help. But the mirror fought back. A dark force surged from within it, pulling Arjun towards its glassy surface. He struggled, his mind filled with the screams of the imprisoned girls. Summoning all his strength, he smashed the mirror with a single, powerful blow. The glass shattered, and with it, the cursed power that had held the girls captive. Chapter 6, Aftermath. When the townspeople found Arjun the next morning, he was unconscious but alive, surrounded by shards of the broken mirror. The missing girls were never found, but the disappearances stopped and the parlor was permanently closed. Rashmi disappeared soon after, leaving behind only an empty, haunted building. To this day, no one knows where the girls went, or if they ever truly escaped the mirror's grasp. But late at night, some say, if you pass by the old parlor, you can still hear their whispers. Chapter 7, The Unseen Aftermath. The destruction of the mirror was supposed to be the end, but for Arjun, it was only the beginning. After waking up from the ordeal, he was plagued by nightmares, visions of the girls trapped in the void, calling for his help. Their voices echoed in his dreams, their faces contorted with fear. Despite destroying the cursed mirror, Arjun couldn't shake the feeling that the girls were still out there, somewhere, waiting to be freed. Over the following weeks, the nightmares worsened. Arjun began seeing glimpses of the missing girls in everyday reflections on the surface of water, in windows, even in his phone screen. Every reflection seemed to mock him, their ghostly eyes accusing him of failing to save them. The guilt was unbearable. Driven by desperation, Arjun returned to the ruins of the parlor, determined to find answers. Something within him told him that the mirror's curse wasn't truly broken. He scoured the debris, searching for any clues, but found nothing. Just as he was about to leave, he noticed a small, shimmering shard of the mirror, buried beneath the rubble. It pulsed faintly, as though it still possessed some remnant of its dark power. Arjun pocketed the shard, knowing that this was the key to the next step in his investigation. Chapter 8, The Collector. Arjun's search for answers led him to an eccentric figure known only as the Collector. This mysterious man was known for his knowledge of supernatural artifacts, and rumors swirled about the dark treasures he kept hidden in his mansion on the outskirts of town. It was said that the Collector possessed items linked to ancient curses, including mirrors with deadly powers. When Arjun arrived at the Collector's estate, he was met by an unsettling sight. The mansion was filled with mirrors, tall, wide, round, and rectangular, each reflecting a distorted version of the world around them. The air was thick with an eerie sense of foreboding. The Collector, a frail old man with sunken eyes and a cryptic smile, greeted Arjun with surprising warmth. As they sat down to discuss the cursed shard, the Collector revealed a horrifying truth. The mirror Arjun had shattered was not just an ordinary object, it was part of a much larger, older cursed one that spanned centuries and connected to other cursed mirrors scattered across the world. "The girls you saw are not lost," the Collector said, his voice low and cryptic. "But they are not here either. They exist between worlds now, trapped in the realm of reflections. To free them, you must find the other mirrors, and break them." The quest was far from over. Chapter 9, The Search begins. Arjun embarked on a harrowing journey to track down the other cursed mirrors. His investigation led him to dark corners of the world, following the trail of disappearances, hauntings, and strange occurrences linked to mirrors. Each mirror held a piece of the puzzle, a fragment of the curse that imprisoned the girls. His first stop was an abandoned mansion in Rajasthan, where a once wealthy family had mysteriously vanished, leaving behind only their ornate, floor-length mirror. Arjun carefully approached the mirror, knowing that it was more than just glass. As he stood before it, he saw the faces of the missing girls, flickering in and out of view, their eyes wide with terror. With a sledgehammer in hand, Arjun smashed the mirror, freeing another piece of the curse. But as the glass shattered, a powerful gust of wind knocked him off his feet, and the voices of the trapped girls filled the room. He had freed another fragment, but the danger was far from over. Chapter 10 The Night of Shadows. As Arjun continued his journey, he began to notice a dark presence following him, a shadowy figure that lurked just beyond the edges of his vision. This figure, a creature born of the curse, sought to stop him from breaking the mirrors. It appeared in his nightmares, taunting him with images of the girls trapped in their eternal prison, reminding him that time was running out. One night, while resting in a small village, Arjun awoke to find the shadowy figure standing at the foot of his bed. Its eyes glowed with malevolence, and its presence filled the room with an icy chill. It whispered in a voice that sounded like 1,000 souls trapped in torment. "You cannot save them, they are mine." Arjun barely escaped with his life that night, but he knew the shadow would return. Chapter 11 The Haunted Lake. The next cursed mirror led Arjun to an isolated village near a haunted lake in Kerala. Legend had it that the lake had claimed the lives of several young girls who were last seen staring into the water, mesmerized by their own reflections. Local folklore warned people to avoid the lake at night, but Arjun knew that the curse was connected to the mirror. Late at night, Arjun ventured to the lake, the moonlight casting an eerie glow on the still water. As he approached the lake's edge, he saw the faces of the missing girls reflected in the water's surface. Their eyes pleaded with him, but he knew that to save them, he had to destroy the source. With a heavy stone, he shattered the reflection in the lake, disturbing the mirror-like surface and unleashing a powerful ripple that shook the ground. The curse began to weaken, but the shadowy figure grew more aggressive, lashing out at Arjun as he tried to leave the village. Chapter 12 The Mirror of Secrets. In the heart of an ancient temple in Tamil Nadu, Arjun discovered the next cursed mirror hidden away in a secret chamber. This mirror, adorned with intricate carvings and symbols, was said to reveal the darkest secrets of those who gazed into it. Many had been driven mad by what they saw, but Arjun knew he had no choice. As he stared into the mirror, it revealed his greatest fear, that he would fail the girls and doom them to eternal torment. The mirror showed him visions of the girls trapped in a hellish void, screaming for his help. But Arjun resisted the mirror's power, knowing that the curse was trying to break his resolve. With great effort, Arjun smashed the mirror, but the temple walls began to crumble around him. The shadowy figure appeared once more, this time more powerful than ever, its form twisting and growing with each mirror Arjun destroyed. Chapter 13 The curse grows stronger. Each mirror Arjun shattered brought him closer to freeing the girls, but it also made the curse more volatile. The shadowy figure, now fully formed, began attacking him in broad daylight, its presence growing stronger with every passing day. It took on the form of the girls he was trying to save, using their voices to lure him into traps. But Arjun had become more determined. He knew that the final mirror was the key to breaking the curse once and for all. Chapter 14 The Forbidden Mirror. The final mirror was located in an abandoned palace deep in the heart of Rajasthan. This mirror, known as the Forbidden Mirror, was said to be the most powerful of all. Legend had it that it held the souls of hundreds of victims, and those who attempted to destroy it faced certain death. As Arjun approached the palace, he felt the weight of the curse bearing down on him. The air was thick with dread, and the shadowy figure followed closely behind, ready to strike. Inside the palace, the mirror stood tall, its surface shimmering with an unnatural light. Arjun knew this would be the final battle. Chapter 15 The Battle for Freedom. Arjun faced the mirror and the shadowy figure simultaneously. The cursed entity, now a towering mass of darkness, lunged at him with a force that shook the palace walls. But Arjun was prepared. He had gathered all the knowledge and strength from his journey and knew exactly what to do. He began reciting an ancient incantation he had learned from the collector, words meant to weaken the curse. The shadowy figure writhed in pain, its form flickering and distorting as Arjun's voice grew louder. With one final blow, Arjun shattered the forbidden mirror. Chapter 16 The Realm of Reflections. As the mirror shattered, Arjun was pulled into the realm of reflections, the dark dimension where the girls had been trapped for so long. The void was cold and endless, filled with countless souls, their faces twisted in torment. But in the distance, Arjun saw the girls, their forms faint and flickering, but still there. He rushed towards them, determined to bring them back. Chapter 17, the final sacrifice to free the girls. Arjun had to make a choice, either he could save them and remain trapped in the realm of reflections forever, or he could leave and doom them to eternal imprisonment. The weight of the decision crushed him, but in his heart, he knew what he had to do. He chose to stay. Chapter 18, the escape. As Arjun made his sacrifice, the girls were pulled from the realm of reflections and returned to the real world. They awoke, confused and frightened, but alive. The curse was broken, and the shadowy figure was vanquished. But Arjun remained behind, trapped in the void. Chapter 19, the forgotten hero. The townspeople celebrated the return of the girls, but few knew of Arjun's sacrifice. His name became a legend, whispered among those who had heard the story of the cursed mirrors. The girls, forever grateful, vowed to keep his memory alive. Chapter 20, the reflection lives on years past, and the story of the cursed mirrors faded into obscurity. But sometimes,